It is a Friday here. I got a pretty busy day ahead, meeting with a few different people. Got to get my car in. But today I also want to talk about Kickstarter. Time for some lunch down near Old Town Scottsdale at the waterfront. Like I said, I'm going to try to focus on Kickstarter, I think, today. So I don't know how much of this auxiliary stuff I'm going to be filming, but I guess we'll see. A lot of really cool stuff that I've gotten from Kickstarter over the past few years. As many of you know, I'm a huge backer. I absolutely love a lot of the different projects that are happening, and I think it's great to let people experiment with what they're trying to do. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Kickstarter here in a minute. All right, so as promised, I'm going to take a moment to talk a little bit about Kickstarter. I have a few items in front of me that I'll discuss. I'm not sure the field of range on this. And I'm still using this water bottle as a stand because my thing still hasn't quite gotten in yet. Anyway, I hope this works. So a few quick things, because I've had a lot of people ask before, and so I'll probably refer them to this in the future. But, Kickstarter is important for a few different reasons. First and foremost, for me, I love that it allows people to be creative and see who else out there might be interested in whatever creative project they're working on. And that goes for all of it. I think there are some that a lot of people argue are more that aren't necessarily as creative, but I think all of it's very creative. Every idea I've seen go through there is unique in some way, shape, or form, and whether it's actually art-based or if it's technology-based, whatever it is, it requires quite a bit of creativity. And I think a lot of that is kudos to the Kickstarter team. They do a great job of vetting the different ideas and projects before they go on. I know that they sometimes get a lot of heat for doing so, but I think it makes the platform what it is, and tries to keep it as pure as possible. And there are plenty of other platforms if you want to, fundraise for yourself for something that doesn't quite meet their guidelines. Plenty of other platforms, but Kickstarter remains my favorite for some of these reasons. Secondly, it allows, again, a lot of people to raise money for things and try new ideas that they might not otherwise be able to raise for. I think we've seen a lot of really cool projects come out of it that may not have gotten funding any other way, especially at that particular time. I know LifeFix is probably one of those that I'm a big fan of. This Mayo band is another. I actually haven't gotten a chance to use mine yet, but from what I hear, it's pretty interesting, and we're experimenting on a few different things there. So it's a really unique way to potentially get your project funded. So again, just to talk about a few quick ones, and some of my favorite, a few I don't have necessarily anything for. One of those being, I think it's called Lowline, was a really cool kind of architecture design project. Actually, just a very simple one, but one that I've come to use a lot is the GoPro or Go mount. Something as simple as just being able to attach this and hook my GoPro into it. You'd be surprised at the time there weren't a whole lot of other options out there. So when I saw this project, I was like, that's perfect. So simple, but really awesome. LifeFix, as I mentioned, really cool. As you can see, Kickstarter edition. I've bought several more since. In fact, I don't know how easy it is to tell, but those lights are LifeFix. My lights down there are LifeFix. I have some in other parts of the home that are LifeFix. Really handy. Really cool lights. I do program it every once in a while, just for the fun of it. And so, pretty awesome project I backed. Another one that was really basic, but one I enjoyed, were these cards that a guy designed and had printed by Bicycle, which, from what I've heard and what I know, was a pretty big deal, because Bicycle typically doesn't print for anyone, on a small scale. So that was a really cool project to back as well. And then again, I mentioned the Mayo band before. So another really fun tech project that I think is so kind of different that a lot of traditional investors might not invest in it, or might not have invested in it if it hadn't been able to get started on Kickstarter. And I know I've heard they've had a few issues and whatnot, but again, Kickstarter really gives people that place to try something new. And I just want to take you for a minute, because I have a bunch where I keep all of this stuff. Because I actually got this from a project as well. You'll see it got signed. This from that same project. I have a few others somewhere. 248 out of 300. And then I think probably one of my favorite and most important that I'll end with is this one by Pool Plus. This is actually really heavy. Or not really heavy, but relatively speaking. And, this was a big turning point for me, because this was one of the first projects I backed. And by working together, we can achieve anything. This tile is proof. Supporter since 2013. I truly believe that, and I think a lot of people have started to forget that recently. And so, I can't wait to go there someday and take friends, take family, etc., and showcase what really can happen when we all pool resources together. I don't think I knew anybody on Kickstarter at the time that I backed Pool Plus. So it truly was a lot of people coming together for a project that none of us really knew each other, but we all believed in what this project was doing, which, if you're not familiar with, I'll link it in the description. I don't want to take too much more time, but by far, Plus Pool, or Pool Plus as I always call it, my all-time favorite Kickstarter project I've ever backed, and looking forward to many more backed projects in the future. Hope you all enjoy. If you have some more questions about Kickstarter or running a Kickstarter campaign, I help out a lot of different people in doing so feel free to leave a comment and ask. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. Take care.